Let's talk about the Quebec budget that we had last week. There's been some positive accolades from Quebec business leaders, but there's one thing that a lot of businesses are saying it doesn't address, and that is the labor shortage. Well, what do they think needs to be done about this? It's our pleasure to welcome back Michel Leblanc onto the program, president of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal. Monsieur Leblanc, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So let's talk about this, the labor shortage. I was a little surprised about this because, I know there's been so many people that have been laid off, let's say, from the hospitality industry, from the airline industry, the things that have not been able to go forward due to COVID-19, yet we still have this labor shortage. Can you tell us just how bad the labor shortage is in Quebec?
Yes, well, indeed. What you've seen is that many sectors have already relaunched over the last months, and part of that is the manufacturing sector is keeping the job, the activities, and they're hiring. If you are in many sectors, of course, the IT has been booming all year long. If you are in even in the agriculture sector, you're in need now of new workers, foreign workers that usually come. So all those sectors are not at this moment facing unemployment levels. They're just looking for staff. And then, as you mentioned, you have sectors where people lost their jobs, everything that relates to tourism, of course, restaurants, culture also. And these workers, many of them moved towards other sectors, and some of them are happy. Some of them will come back to their sector eventually. But again, it's not necessarily easy to retrain very rapidly if you were working as in restaurants to start working in an IT business, for instance. So the possibility of retraining is there, but it takes time. So at this moment, what you have is sectors that are booming, that are looking for labor. You have sectors that are still hurting a lot, where labor is moving away, and it's a concern because as we will relaunch these sectors, they'll need their people back. So it's not only that we have right now a pressure, labor shortage, but we will have that labor shortage in other areas, other sectors, as they relaunch over the next weeks, next months.
So you just referenced one way that, Quebec budget could have impacted this, if there was money, let's say, for retraining, right? So if you could retrain people into jobs that are in high need, you can do it there.
And there is money in the budget. There is money for that. So the criticism was not that the budget is blind on the need to put money to retrain. The question is whether we can have more immigrants, whether we can have more help from outside over the next year. We know that government in place over the last years had reduced the number of immigrants. And clearly what they have said is we will catch up. The number that did not come over the last year, we will increase the numbers over the next years. What we are all saying is we'll need to do more. We'll be even more open to immigration.
So, Michel, listen, I'm so happy because I was leading you down that path, so I'm happy you took the road and you went with it, okay? So, immigration. Here's where I think there's a huge disconnect when it comes to this government. Earlier this week, the OQLF released a couple of reports, and we all know Bill 101. They want to change Bill 101. Simon Jean Barrette is going to change, bring the hammer down on Bill 101. But the reports were so interesting this week that the OQLF released because what did they focus on? Mother tongue, the mother tongue of Quebecers. It's going down. Oh, my God, the mother tongue of Quebecers is going down. Michel, how do you really think the CAQ government's going to increase immigration to the level you want when immigration means mother tongue is going to fall? French mother tongue is going to fall. And I would be very worried if I were you, if you want immigration with a government that seems to be so interested in what's spoken at home and mother tongue, which if you have immigration, it's only going to go down. It's impossible for it to go up if you have lots of immigration.
I think whenever we're going to speak about that very sensitive topic, which of course means a lot to many people. Clearly, we are in face of I think it's a complex situation. I don't think it's a simple answer. First, definitely business wants to have talent, want to have resources, workforce, and sometimes this workforce, of course, as we're saying, comes from immigrants. And those immigrants that we will get here do not necessarily know French or know French well when they arrive, or perhaps their family doesn't. So clearly there, as you mentioned, there'll be an issue on whether we have, or whether we put in place all the programs, all the help needed to make sure that these people learn French. And that's the second part. The second part is you will always hear me saying that, if we want to have a thriving Quebec society that has linguistic peace, it has to be acknowledged that it's going to happen in French. And therefore, as you have immigrants coming, the question is, can you have immigrants coming that do not know French already? And we're saying, yes, we need all those talents. Can we put in place all the resources to make sure that they can learn French very rapidly? The answer should be definitely yes. And thirdly, should we increase the number of immigrants, knowing that we will have immigrants that do not know French at the beginning, and be able to make sure that they learn French very rapidly? The answer should be yes as well. So increase the numbers. Do not limit yourself to the immigrants that know French, but put in place very, very strong programs and resources to help them learn French, and send a signal. It's going to happen in French in Quebec. It's clearly the message that will make it, I think, easier to have linguistic peace over time.
Michel Leblanc is with us. He's president of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal. So, Michel, it's just so interesting how to look at that subject, right? Because when you look at, French is the common language. I think I know we're, those same statistics where they get that the maternal language, la langue maternelle, is declining for French, and the language spoken at home is declining for French because of immigration. Those same numbers will tell us that it's now 94% of Quebecers that can have a conversation in English, in French, excuse me. That's the highest it's ever been. So, you can actually have both those things at the same time. Maybe language spoken at home is going to drop, but percentage of Quebecers that speak French will continue to go up if we do all of those things that you say. Are you worried, though, that the Quebec government will focus so much on langue maternelle, the mother tongue, and also on language spoken at home, that they'll screw up what you need, and that's immigrants?
Yeah, well, I think first that we all agree. If we have lots of newcomers who learn French, who can function in French, and who say at home, with my kids, I speak a different language, mm-hmm. I don't think it's an issue. I think I agree with you. Then if you say, is that government only looking at one side of the arguments, what I'm saying is that this is a government that will hurt a strong message from businesses all over Quebec. Not only in Montreal, all over Quebec. They are bleeding for talents, for workers. And therefore, I think that they will hear, and they are already hearing, the message that we need those immigrants. And it's not about saying they need to speak French first. We need the ones that can integrate in the workforce very rapidly. And mind you, if you are the Quebec government, you know that if you increase immigration, and they go in the regions where, of course, they absolutely need to know French, they will learn French very rapidly. So I'm not that concerned that they will only listen to one side of the argument, but we need to keep talking with them to make sure that they look at all the arguments.
Michel Leblanc is president of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal, and it really always is a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks, Michel.
My pleasure.